Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So Moses Itauma improves his record to 12-0 with a 2-round demolition of former NFL player Mike Balogun. Let's talk about it. Itauma weighed in at a career heaviest 254 pounds for this fight, which did raise a few eyebrows among boxing fans. But on the scales and in the ring, he's quite deceptive because he doesn't actually look that heavy. Don't get me wrong, he does have quite a stocky build. He's not chiseled by any means, but he does not look 254. I don't know where that weight actually is. Maybe he's got heavy bones or something, who knows? But more importantly, he doesn't move like he's 254. He moves like he's 175. He's light on his feet, he's cat quick, he's explosive and hits hard with both hands. And he demonstrated that in this fight with Mike Balogun. He dropped him in the first round with a left hand to the ear, which didn't actually land on the knuckle part of the glove. It was actually the inside of the glove. So it was kind of a power slap. But it was enough to put Balogun down. He got to his feet and managed to make it into the second, but it was more of the same. Itauma and Balogun, who are both southpaws, landed with simultaneous right-hand leads. But Itauma's was the better shot, and down went Balogun for a second time. To his credit, he got up and fired back with everything he had, just as he did after the first knockdown. Balogun, despite being completely out of his depth, was very game. He rushed at Itauma, throwing bombs in a final do-or-die effort, but Itauma demonstrated impressive calmness, timing, accuracy, agility, and of course punching power, dropping Mike Balogun for a third time with a check right hook whilst moving backwards. Balogun went down very heavily, prompting the ref to wave it off. Now, I've been saying for the past 2 years, since before Itauma even turned pro, that this is a very, very special talent. He's not an ordinary prospect. He's a prodigy, and there are unique challenges trying to manage a fighter like this. Firstly, because the talent is so obvious, fans are going to get very excited, and that's going to generate a lot of hype. And I plead guilty. I've been doing that myself because I'm very excited about his potential. It's difficult not to be. So Itauma's team are going to need to try and keep his feet on the ground so he doesn't get complacent, which won't be easy. And secondly, matching him is going to be very, very difficult because he's not yet a big commercial draw. So some of the more well-known names in the heavyweight division, both domestically and internationally, are going to think that the risk-reward of fighting Itauma is not very attractive right now. Frank Warren would have to take a big financial hit to get most recognizable names in the ring with him. He might even have to try and get Turki Al-Sheikh involved. Otherwise, Itauma will be restricted to fighting obscure opposition for the time being. And most of these random heavyweights are not going to give him the rounds that he needs. Now, one fighter who, for the most part, is kind of obscure, but happens to also be tough, is Jermaine Franklin. Been in with White, been in with Joshua, takes a good shot, never been down, never been stopped. Knows how to look after himself in the ring. Francis Warren said Itauma will be back out in July, and I think Franklin might be the ideal opponent under the circumstances. Now, Franklin hasn't fought for a year. I'm not sure why. It's possible he's having issues with his promoter, Dimitri Salita. If that is the case, then Frank Warren might want to consider buying him out of his contract. Yes, it's an extra expense, but you'd be making an investment in Itauma's future. He needs rounds, and Franklin might be able to provide that. Another potential opponent might be Dave Allen. Again, tough guy who's never been down, but Allen has already said on his YouTube channel several months ago that he does not fancy fighting Itauma. So presumably they'd need to pay Dave Allen a lot of money to get him in the ring with Moses, especially coming off that big payday against Johnny Fisher. And in fact, speaking of Johnny Fisher, how foolish must all the casuals who were calling for an Itauma Fisher fight 9 months ago feel right now? I made a video at the time calling it a complete mismatch, and all these misguided Fisher fans were attacking me in the comments. Forgive them, Lord, they know not what they do. I mean, Eddie Hearn was never going to let that fight happen anyway, but it's just as well because it wouldn't have lasted around. Itauma and Fisher are leagues and leagues apart in terms of ability, and anyone who actually knows boxing could easily see that from the start. Other potential opponents for Moses Itauma would be Guido Vianello, who's a very tough guy. Zheli Zhang, possibly, given his age, given the fact he's coming off a stoppage loss, and the fact he's also a Frank Warren fighter. Joe Joyce as well, possibly, for similar reasons. And you've also got the likes of Charles Martin and Otto Wallen, although I don't have much confidence in the latter two surviving very long. But those are some of the more realistic names for Itauma's next fight in July. I do not think that people like David Adelaide, Fraser Clark, Martin Bacoli, or Philip Hergovich are going to be fighting Itauma anytime soon, because these are guys who still have ambition in their careers. So they're going to want big, big money for taking that type of risk. They're not going to want to be treated like cannon fodder at the negotiating table. Do you know what I mean? So again, unless Turkey Al-Sheikh gets involved and stumps up some crazy money, then I just don't see any of those guys getting in the ring with Itauma this year. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Itauma's performance against Balogun, his potential, and who you think would be a good but also realistic opponent for him in July. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And before I go, make sure you check out my latest content on Patreon. This week on the boxing tier, I uploaded the full Dave Allen versus Johnny Fisher rematch fight footage with my commentary over it. So you can watch the fight blow by blow with me calling the shots rather than Adam Smith, and relive the down goes Johnny moment till your heart's content. Also on the boxing tier, I uploaded the infamous Kell Brook voice note. It's some guy from Kell Brook's inner circle in a WhatsApp chat group spilling the beans about Kell Brook's alternative lifestyle, giving backstory to a car crash that Kell Brook was involved in back in the days, and the weird events that led up to it, and also the time when he got shanked in Spain. He explains the backstory behind that. That voice note was never meant to get out, but it did. It was sent to me probably 7 years ago or so by somebody from Sheffield, and it was doing the rounds online for a while, but it's since apparently been scrubbed from everywhere on the internet except for my Patreon page on the boxing tier, the Boxing Brotherhood. And on my topical tier, this week I've uploaded part 2 of the Mechanics of Faith, where I delve into why some people follow religion and why it actually helps them, and why other people don't follow religion, and in some cases, for the best. And in part 2 specifically, I explain why so many black men in the diaspora have turned their backs on the church and turned their backs on Christianity altogether. That's this week's topical content. And of course, if you sign up to my Patreon, you get access to my entire back catalog on the tier that you select, going back many, many years, hundreds and hundreds of episodes. And of course, last week on the topical tier, the Brotherhood of Reason, I uploaded an episode which was an instant hit, decoding the new movie Sinners. It went down fantastically well. In fact, you can listen to a free 10-minute sample of that decoding. Just click the link in the description box below. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. If you want to access this video along with hundreds of hours worth of other exclusive boxing content, as well as our members chat, just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called the Boxing Brotherhood. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.